All right. Hello. Welcome to the sermon you're not getting this week. Today we're looking at Isaiah 11, 1 through 10. A shoot shall come out from the stump of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. The Spirit of the Lord shall rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and fear of the Lord. His delight shall be in the fear of the Lord. He shall not judge by what his eyes see, or decide by what his ears hear, but with righteousness he shall judge the poor. Or he shall judge for the poor, and decide with equity for the oppressed of the earth. He shall strike the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips he shall kill the wicked. Righteousness shall be the belt around his waist, and faithfulness the belt around his loins. The wolf shall lie with the lamb, the leopard shall lie down with the kid, the calf and the lion will feed together, and a little child shall lead them. The cow and the bear shall graze, their young shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like an ox. The nursing child shall play over the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put its hand on the adder's den. They will not hurt or destroy on all my holy mountain, for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. On that day the root of Jesse shall stand as a signal to the peoples. The nations shall inquire of him, and his dwelling shall be glorious. So I know that technically wolves and bears are omnivorous. They can eat plant stuff, but I don't think lions are very omnivorous. My understanding of the cat family is they tend to be pretty exclusively meat eaters, and I while bears can get around to eating quite a bit, they're sort of opportunistic. I think wolves probably need meat in their diet. I don't know if we could have a vegetarian wolf. I'm not sure that we could make that happen. They evolved teeth for holding prey, for crushing bones, for shredding meat, not lettuce. This passage from Isaiah seems to be going against the very idea of evolution itself. Wolves and lions and bears evolved to kill, to destroy things. It's hard to even blame them for it. That's just the niche they fill in the ecosystem. But here, there's this promise that the knowledge of the Lord will be so powerful as it covers the entire earth like water covers the sea, that animals will unlearn not only their evolutionary instincts, but the base core of their behavior. They will learn to do something else with their teeth other than what their teeth seem to have evolved to do. And that is fascinating. Now, it might be a little fanciful to imagine such a world in which a lion would eat straw and a bear and a cow would graze together. It might be a little ridiculous to imagine this, but let's indulge for just a moment, because I hope that it can tell us something about our own desire for peace among the human race. We might not have evolved for violence, but it seems like the cycle of violence in the human race goes back before the beginning of history being written. Our human story is a story of war, of death, of destruction, and usually unnecessarily so. We can imagine that that strife between people goes back to something that we can't even name, and perhaps that very same strife continues rippling out to our day. But even if it isn't a continuous line of strike and strike back, sometimes even even behaving well can lead to bad options. I'm not a pacifist. I think sometimes, rarely, under certain circumstances, violence has to be used. Sometimes you need to defend the weak and vulnerable from the powerful who are cruel and trying to hurt them. Sometimes there is reason to stand and fight against evil. However, even that, even doing simply that, creates a breeding ground for the growth of hatred and resentment and grudges, which will eventually blossom into the fruit of revenge. People, if you even the worst people imaginable have children, and if you take their parents away from them by violent means, those children may grow to hate you, and thus even right action continues the endless cycle of violence. It seems like there's almost nothing we can do to fix it. For the past 2 years or so, Israel and Palestine and Gaza have been in the news a lot. Israel and Palestine in general, and that is a really complicated situation. Some people like to oversimplify it, and in some ways it is simpler than some people make it out to be. But we have to consider the long, tragic story that has led us to the madness that we see now. There were people living in the region that we call Palestine pretty continuously throughout history. But after World War I, the British and the French largely divided up the Middle East, and we've been suffering problems from that ever since. But part of that was the Palestinian Mandate, the British Palestinian Mandate. There was a land that was said, this is where the Palestinians live. But perhaps they didn't have enough advocates speaking out for them in Europe later, because after World War II, a lot of people in Europe decided that the Jewish people needed a state. Now, perhaps the right thing to do at that point would have been to give the Jewish people, especially the European Jewish people, a state in Europe, the continent that had systematically tried to kill them. Maybe they should have gotten some of that land, but instead they decided to return them to their ancestral homeland. Some people at that time almost took up a slogan, a people without a land meets a land without a people. And that would sound all well and good, except for the fact that Palestine was not a land without a people. There were Palestinian people living there. And what happens when you put two groups of people on the same land? Well, in our best imaginations, they miraculously get along, but not when both sides have been hurt. Not when both sides are distrustful of each other. Violence breaks out. And it has been a long train of violence back and forth since then. Now, it should be said that at this point in history, Israel has much more power, not only militarily, but also in geopolitical standing. And the Palestinian people suffer under these conditions. There's a lot of Palestinian people who feel like their diplomatic solutions are at an end. There's nothing they can do to have their homeland back, as it seems to be taken away from them more and more every day. And at some point, when there's no peaceful option, history has proven that people will use violence to hold on to their land, if there's not a peaceful way to do it. Thus, what we have now. It is a mess. And the more you study it, the more you look into it, it makes you want to beat your head against a wall or throw your hands up in the air in bewilderment and say, I don't know. I don't know how to fix this. I can't make it work. I could not come up with a solution that pleases everybody. Someone will be burned, and we have to either hope that they're okay with it or let them suffer. But there's no way to just fix this. It would be defying thousands of years of learned human social behavior. That is, what do we do with our teeth? We bite one another. We devour one another. We destroy one another when given the chance. But then again, if God can reverse evolution with the promise of peace, if God's promise and call for peace is so strong that a lion and a wolf and a bear can find something other to do with their teeth than bite and rip and tear and consume their fellow animals, maybe there is some hope for us. I don't think we're going to be the ones to accomplish it. But if we could learn peace, I think it would be because the knowledge of the Lord covers the earth as the waters cover the sea. If there is any hope forward, it's going to be God teaching us a new way a way that sort of unlearns thousands upon thousands of years of human social evolution that has brought us to the point we're in now, where hate and cruelty and malicious actions seem to pervade our behavior, and teach us something else, a way of love and peace. May that kingdom come soon. Amen.